All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we've got a really fascinating showdown for you. Elon Musk versus MrBeast. You've got one guy who's literally building our future, and another guy who's doing his best to fix our present. Both are ridiculously wealthy, but the way they think about and use their money, well, they couldn't be more different.
So, on one side, you have Elon Musk, the industrialist, the guy changing the world with rockets and electric cars. And on the other side, you've got MrBeast, the absolute king of YouTube, who's built this massive empire based on, well, giving money away. They're both at the top of their game, but their paths and their philosophies are just worlds apart.
So it really makes you wonder, right? Who's making the bigger difference? We're going to break down their wealth, their lifestyles, and what they really believe in to try and figure out what their very different definitions of being the best actually look like.
Let's kick things off with the tech titan himself, Elon Musk. And look, when we start talking about his money, we're getting into numbers that are just, honestly, they're kind of hard to wrap your head around.
Okay, so get this. According to our source, Musk's net worth is a mind-blowing $800 billion. That's not just rich. That's more money than some entire countries have. He is, simply put, the richest man on the entire planet.
And this slide, this is where it gets really insane. To put that number into perspective, if an average person started working 3 million years ago, we're talking way before ancient Egypt, before basically anything, they would just now be catching up to what Musk has today. He's not in the 1%. He's in what our source calls the rich of the rich. It's a whole other level.
And it's not like this was a slow and steady thing either. His wealth didn't just grow, it went into hyperdrive. In 2020, he was worth around $27 billion. Just 2 years later, boom, he's the richest person in the world. Now, these numbers bounce around a lot with the stock market, but his financial climb has been absolutely meteoric. So let's try to break that down. Some calculations suggest his earnings work out to roughly $22,500 every single minute. Think about that. The average American family would need to work for almost 4 months straight to make what he earns in the time it takes you to watch this one slide. The numbers are just wild.
And an innovation like reusable rockets, this is classic Musk. It perfectly shows how he thinks. He apparently just hates the word no. If someone says something is impossible, that's pretty much a guarantee he's going to go out and do it. Reusable rockets were one of those things, and now they've completely changed the game for space travel. So where does all this money go? Well, he's got a pretty sweet car collection, of course, including a lot of his own Teslas. But you know, for a guy with this much cash, his lifestyle is often described as surprisingly lean. His focus seems to be squared completely on his companies. And this right here is a really important point. Sure, he owns a multi-million-dollar private jet, but for a CEO running a global empire, that's less of a luxury and more of a necessity. It's like his office in the sky. But you don't see him buying things like private islands. The story is that the vast majority of his money gets poured right back into his companies to fund the next big thing. Okay, so now let's flip the script and talk about our other contender, the undisputed king of YouTube, MrBeast. This is a guy who's not just getting rich, he's making us rethink what you're even supposed to do with wealth. So his real name is Jimmy Donaldson, and the guy is only 25 years old, but in that incredibly short amount of time, he has built an absolute empire, all based on viral stunts and just unbelievable generosity. His wealth, estimated to be around $2.6 billion, comes from a whole bunch of places. We're talking 7 YouTube channels that pull in 1 billion views a month. Yeah, 1 billion. Plus, he's got massive sponsorships from some of the biggest brands in the world. And this, right here, is where the story takes a huge turn away from Musk. He apparently donates a massive chunk of his income, something like 40% of it, directly to people, either through his videos or his charity work.
And this quote really tells you everything you need to know about what drives him. I mean, he's given away cars, houses, he even gave away an entire private island. And the reason is pretty simple. He just loves seeing the joy that it brings to people's faces.
And you can see that philosophy in his own life, too. Yeah, he drives a Tesla, but he doesn't live in some crazy mansion. The guy reportedly lives in a simple room inside his production studio. His focus is clearly on the content and the giving, not on collecting a bunch of stuff for himself.
All right, so now that we've got a handle on both of our contenders, let's put them side by side and really see how their lives and their priorities stack up.
I mean, this comparison just lays it all out, doesn't it? You've got Musk with the assets you'd expect from a global industrialist, a private jet for work, a huge car collection. Then you look at MrBeast, who, despite being a billionaire, drives a Tesla and famously lives in a room at work. It's just a tale of 2 completely different approaches to living with money. And at the end of the day, it really boils down to this.
Musk is pouring his fortune into developing technology that he believes will shape the future of humanity. MrBeast, on the other hand, is using his fortune to make an immediate, life-changing impact on people who are here right now.
So, after looking at all this, the money, the lifestyles, the core beliefs, what's the final verdict here, according to the source material?
So who wins? Well, turns out it's kind of a tie. The source basically argues that you can't really pick one over the other because they're both working for the good of humanity, just on completely different timelines. One is building the world of tomorrow, and the other is trying to heal the world of today.
And that's the big question this whole thing leaves us with, isn't it? What's more powerful, using immense wealth to build the future or using it to fix the present? It's a debate with no easy answer, and it really makes you think about the true purpose of wealth.